Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
How you doing, Judge?
Good afternoon. Hello. All right, I'll go ahead and get started. Everyone, my name is Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused the cases of the charges brought against them or the offenses brought against them, and the cases have been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's first appearance before a state court judge, and we're going to and are able to address several matters such as bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I'm going to begin by advising everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. Govern yourselves accordingly. Excuse me. And I want to also advise the defendants on this calendar that you have certain constitutional rights. And the first being that you have a right to representation and counsel at this stage in your case, obviously. And most of you know who your attorneys are, and they're on the line with you on the Zoom call. You also have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, and the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. The prosecutors are listening and taking notes, so listen to your attorneys. Who do we have up first? Oh, one quick thing. The SAP reset date is it Ms. Champion with me today?
Yes, ma'am. It's going to be March the 2nd.
Okay, March 2nd. All right, that is the reset date. All right, deputies, who do we have up first?
Hi, good afternoon, Judge Mincy. I do have a quick announcement. We're requesting for a Spanish interpreter for courtroom 3. It's going to be position number 3, Mr. Escobar. Do we have a Spanish interpreter?
Wonder, did they know about it ahead of time?
Good afternoon, Judge Mincy. We did request an interpreter, and Mr. Jordan confirmed that there is one. I do not see her on the line just yet.
Yeah, sometimes she's coming from another court. We'll give her a few minutes, and when she does, I'm assuming you all need to go into a breakout as your case, Ms. Gant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll try to move it as expeditiously as possible when she gets here. If Mr. Jordan said she's coming, I believe Mr. Jordan.
Okay, not a problem. And also for position 18, it was requested that Mr. Williams, he has a private attorney. His private attorney is right here, but it was requested that he needs to go last, and they would like to go first.
Your Honor, the state is more than happy to go first. I just wanted to advise Your Honor that the facts of the case are such that we were making sure that if there was any kind of issue that we addressed that case last.
Yes, what's the private attorney's name? What is your name, sir?
Judge Ravi Ryerson here for Mr. Williams.
Say that again.
Ravi Ryerson, and I can spell that if you like, Judge.
R-Y?
Last name is R-A-Y-A-S-S-A-M, like Sam.
Okay, Ryerson. All right, have you filed your entry of appearance yet?
Judge, I have not.
All right, due to the nature of the charges and the circumstances, the state is being gracious to agree that your case can go last because of the recording and the nature of such that it will be heard by the other defendants on the calendar. And we try to be as confidential as we can under the circumstances. But if you're wanting to go first as opposed to last, then everyone will hear everything.
Judge, for just to accommodate everybody, we can put everybody in the back tank, so that way his case can be done by itself.
Okay, that would be great, because I know the attorneys, I don't like to hold them
Thank you,
here
Judge.
through the whole calendar, and I do understand it's a
And I
time and
think,
money factor.
I really thank courtroom for taking that step. I know it's kind of
Yes.
harder to move a bunch of people than it is to
Yes,
move one person.
exactly.
Not a problem.
Thank
All right, thank you so much. We do appreciate everyone's accommodations, or everyone being accommodating. All right, let me call this case.
Judge, your interpreter is on the screen.
Oh, she is here.
Yes.
Let's see. Madam Interpreter.
I think she needs to
You're
unmute.
muted.
Yeah, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Your case is position 3 with Ms. Gant. And they just took all the defendants out of the courtroom for this first case. So as soon as we finish this first case,
Judge, he in courtroom 3.
oh, there he is. So where's Ms. Gant? There she goes. Okay. All right. I'm cross-eyed today, but work with me. Courtroom 3, let's see. Can we have them in a breakout? Courtroom 3, Ms. Gant, and then Spanish interpreter. My Zoom master is who? Mr. Jordan?
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Jordan. Can you put them in a breakout? Oh, that's right. Can you do that with courtroom 3? I'm asking a crazy question.
No, I can.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will go forward with this case so we get the logistics of that worked out. This is 23 CR 000946Y. Deontay Williams charged with 1 count of distributing obscene materials. That offense date is January the 12th, 2023. What do we have pre-trial?
I got first arrest.
All
Check his
right.
email when you get a chance to.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I thought you were going to tell me the chat, but I will check my email as well. Okay, I see a couple other messages there. All right, go ahead, state.
Yes, Your Honor. This happened January 24th of 2023.
January 24th or 12th?
January 24th. So roughly about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it happened at 4600 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs. This incident involved Miss Brianna Bryant, and her name is Briana Bryant, common spelling. She stated that the defendant, who's her neighbor, she had briefly had a relationship with him for about 1 week in December of 2022. And at that time, he had sent her pictures of his penis throughout text messages, even though she told him she did not appreciate it. She wanted him to stop. This incident on January 12th of 2023, she reported it January 24th, happened at around 10:54 p.m. He walked up to her apartment door, showed an image of his penis to her Ring doorbell. And knowing that Ring doorbell connects to a cell phone, she stated that she felt really uncomfortable by all of this. And she went to the Sandy Springs Police Department to file a report the next morning, and then police reached back out to her. I believe that was when the officer reached back out to her on the 24th. She further stated that the defendant has access to her building, lives a few floors above her. She did make it very clear that she feels unsafe. She said the reason why is because she works late hours, gets home late, and she said that in the past, he has texted her randomly to ask where she's going when he sees her vehicle going in and out of the apartment complex. She stated that she fears for her safety to such an extent that she has actually purchased a firearm in the event she has to protect herself against this defendant. So I believe that this situation has escalated to a point where Miss Bryant no longer feels safe in her residence. The officer did explain to her TPO process, and my hopes is that she will in fact take out an additional TPO. However, we are asking in this case for a $7,500 surety bond. We are further asking that he stay away without reservation from Miss Bryant, and that is stay 200 yards away from her. Do not contact her through third parties. Do not contact her on social media, by phone. No method of contact is appropriate at this point. Miss Bryant has made it very clear to the police that her wishes are to have absolutely no contact with this defendant. We are further asking for an SDET. And we are also asking for no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and that he stay away from unit. And this is very hard to read, but it looks like it says H243, which is her unit number. I can't, unless he is moved in between now and then, we can't ask for him to stay away from his own residence, but we can certainly ask for him to stay away from hers. Nothing further from the state.
And you stated that from your understanding, and I can ask his attorney, Mr. Ryan, he lives a few floors above her.
Yes, that is my understanding. And we also would like to sound for Miss Bryant at this time.
All right.
Brianna Bryant.
Do I have Brianna Bryant on the Zoom? Brianna Bryant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Ryan.
Judge, you heard of my client's criminal history, and I would add a little bit about his background. Mr. Williams works at the Discovery Channel in their production department, and prior to that, he worked at ESPN. He's a college graduate and has been working in this field for some time now. He lives, as you heard, in this apartment building, and he's there with his partner, Brianka Stevenson, who is here in court with us, as is his mom, Jennifer Green, and his aunt, Christine Holliday, who had to wait out in the lobby, but they're all present and here on his behalf to show the court the support and the connections that he has, and also to help assure the court that he'll be able to abide by all conditions of his bond going forward. Your Honor, we would point out that I think this is a case that does not involve any violation of anyone else's privacy. It's only Mr. Williams that's alleged, his personal pictures are alleged to have been involved here. Saying that, we do agree with the stay away, so long as that there is some accommodation built in for the fact that he is in the same apartment building. That's his residence. He's under lease there and has nowhere else to go to. But other than that, we would be fine with any hard stay away condition here. And Judge, we are asking for a signature bond in this case, and would ask that he be allowed to sign on his own recognizance or get a signature bond.
Okay. All right. If you can ask your client, how many floors does this apartment building have?
6, Your Honor.
6 floors. And just for logistics, he's on what floor?
4, Judge.
So my question would be, before making an ultimate decision, I'm assuming that there's a possibility they could be in the same elevator, go in at the same time, because she's on a lower floor.
My client says that they never really run into each other, just from the entrances and exits that they use for this apartment building.
Okay. Because I want to make sure that she's safe. And even though I will put all the safeguards in place and all of the conditions, I just don't want there, to be a strong likelihood of them running into each other, because I definitely tell you he's going to have to stay 200 yards away, which is pretty far distance.
And one thing I want to advise my client of, Judge, is that if he sees her in the hallway, he sees her going to the elevator, he just walks away and hangs back and avoids any situation where they might see each other from a distance.
Right. Well, I'm going to grant the $7,500 signature bond through pretrial per judge. I'm going to order the no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, except for any prescriptions that may be prescribed to him. I'm going to go ahead and order the SDET I'm going to order no further contact with Brianna Bryant. And I am thinking, and it appears that she may be on the second floor. So he is ordered to stay away from the second floor in that building. He's not to go onto that floor at all. And again, these boxes will be checked on the bond order that he is to stay within 200 yards away from her. And as you stated and explained to him very carefully, because I think she's prepared to call the police immediately if she sees him. If he sees her, she doesn't see him, he needs to back off and get away to make sure that she won't see him. He's not to have any contact with her directly, indirectly, with any of her relatives, family members, anybody connected with her friends. He is not to phone her. He's not to mail her, email, page, or write her. And the 200 yards away. He's not to have other people to contact her. So when we say no contact, we seriously mean no contact of any sort, of any means. These are very serious allegations. And she's definitely in fear of him. And we want to make sure that she will be safe. You know, I really want him to stay away from the whole building. But if you're telling me he's going to abide by these conditions, then again, he should not be on the second floor for any reason. And he should not be seeing her for any reason, although I'm treading very light with him going back to the building. My gut tells me to say that he should go live somewhere else, but I'm going to hope that since he has private counsel, you will instruct him pretty clearly on what to do to not be ordered back to jail. All right, anything else, counsel, that I need to take up?
Your Honor, could we include that he is allowed to return to his residence in the order, just so that that's clear?
Say that again, I didn't hear everything.
Could we include that he is allowed to return to his residence in the order? We just make that explicit that he is allowed to do that.
Yes, Ms. Champion, if you could put on there, defendant is allowed to return to his residence, but not allowed to be on the second floor of that apartment building at the 4600 Roswell Road.
What's SDET? I ain't never heard of that one. So I want to put that in the chat.
I'll put it in the chat,
right.
Mr. Howard. And also, Judge Mincy, just to put on the record, that location is the Gateway Chastain Apartments.
Thank you. That would be nice. Yeah. Gateway Chastain Apartments. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Judge, my financing is called a collections apartment.
Oh,
He said what now? It's a different name?
There's two apartments with the same name. This is the collections apartment, and Gateway has the same address, but it's a different building.
okay. My apologies. I was pulling that up and saw Gateway Chastain, but you're saying it's called the Collections?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We'll correct that, Ms. Champion. All right, and if he sees her in a parking garage, a parking lot that is adjacent to that building or you know, means for getting in, he needs to go the other way.
And
Or like you say, stay away. Okay,
what I would probably propose to the solicitor's office is that once I get the lay of the land of the apartment building, I may even propose a follow-up bond order that says you only can use a certain elevator or certain stairwell, something to that, to even add some further assurances later on, further protection for my client too. So I would probably discuss that with the solicitor once I know.
do you all want to modify the bond to do that? That's fine. My only concern is, and this is slightly remote or far-fetched, if there's a fire in the building and he has to get out and go down the back hallway and everybody's doing that and it's, you know, what for emergency purposes, I wouldn't want to say, well, if he can't go down the back hall, so he's got to stay upstairs and burn up until he can get away, you know. So I want to be a little careful and understanding, but I'm being very firm with your client, Mr. Williams, that outside of an emergency such as that, a fire or something like that, you know, he should not be traveling, egressing and ingressing in the same manner that she does. He said he doesn't see her much, so we're going to stick with that and hope that that is the case, so that we're not back here to readdress it. But yes, if he can, you know, make sure that he goes to different elevators or different doors, stairwells, but I don't know that I'll get that specific in the order because there may be some reasons for an exception.
And Your Honor, that would also constrain our Miss Bryant and her ability to travel around the building. So
Yes.
I'm going to be honest, your defendant seems like a creative kind of guy based on this charge. I think he can manage to avoid Miss Bryant until this case is
Yes.
resolved.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, we don't want to be too restrictive because then that just again, can be too restrictive on both parties. So just he needs to do his absolute best to remain 200 yards away from her. All right. All right. Nothing else, counsel. Everyone's free to go. We're done with this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, can you please repeat the bond?
The bond is 7,500 signature bond through pretrial per judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Next is positions 8 and 9, Mr. Oliver.
Good morning, Your Honor. The state requested a breakout for Mr. Oliver.
Your Honor, is there a way we can hold the breakouts until the end, if possible? I don't know if Miss McLeod is this her only case, but
I'm
Ms.
okay
McLeod?
with whatever decision you make about the timing of the case.
I really would say I defer to the jail, to the deputies there with the logistics of it. We have other cases for breaking out as well. I don't see
we put
another
position-
breakout request.
I think we had
It was
position-
also requested for position number 8. I saw that in the chat.
yeah, it was
This
position
is
8 and 9.
what
Your
we
Honor.
have now, 8 and 9. Mr. Oliver, let's just go ahead and go to the breakout and get it done.
They're gonna do yours.
If we could, Mr. Jordan, put us in a breakout.
Okay, who all needs to be in the breakout rooms?
Deputy Fogg, ASG Rogers, Ms. McLeod, and I think that's it. All right, we're back on the record. I'm going to give my ruling for position number 8, 23 CR 0000952J. Defendant is Santos Oliver, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. And the offense date is December 13, 2020. I'm going to order a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going per judge. I'm going to order a stay away from 1349 Greenwood Street. No further contact with his mom, Melissa Oliver. I'm ordering an MHET. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. The second case, position 9, 23 CR 0000954J. It's 1 count of battery family violence. 3,500 signature bond through pretrial per judge. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Sequoia Miller. If she allows visitation with the minor child, it will be conducted by third-party transfer. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I believe that'll be it. Anything else, counsel, that I left out?
Nothing further.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
We're ready for the Spanish interpreter case, Judge, Mr. Escobar.
All right.
Position 3.
Position 3. This is 23. Oh, let me swear in my interpreter first. I'm sorry.
I'm right here, Your Honor. And Your Honor, I just have a quick question. I'm sorry. There's somebody else on the screen. I'm sure you see the lady with the iPhone 770-873. Is that related to this case? I mean,
Yes, ma'am, with the iPhone, the burgundy top on. Which case are you here for? Are you still muted? Can't hear you.
I just didn't know whether they needed a
No,
Spanish
I agree.
interpreter as well.
Yes.
Rivera
Rivera
Martinez,
María Elena.
Rivera Martínez, María Elena, ¿tiene un caso usted el día de hoy?
Me mandaron esa información para ella. No sé si tengo ese caso yo.
Okay, so her name is Rivera Martinez. I'm scrolling through the calendar.
We don't have a,
I think it's position 13 on the calendar, Maria Rivera Martinez for theft by taking charge.
oh, it is
Oh, okay.
position 13. Can you ask her if she's here for that case?
¿Está usted para el caso de María Rivera Martínez, que es de robo?
Sí, es ella.
Yeah. ¿Es usted la señora María Rivera Martínez?
No, yo soy Gloria Peña.
Okay, she is here for that case, but she is not Miss María Rivera Martínez.
Right, I know she's not.
Okay.
Is she the mother to her, or how's she related?
I'm the aunt, and
Aunt?
I'm the one in charge of her.
Okay. And so does she need an interpreter?
I'm sorry, Judge. Excuse me,
Yes.
Judge Mincy, just a quick announcement. She's here for position 13. They bonded out.
Oh, 13 is bonded out?
Yes.
That will solve that. Thank you so much for that before we had a long discussion about it.
Thank you.
So if you could let her know, Madam Interpreter, that she's bonded out.
Okay. La señora Rivera ya le dieron fianza y ella ya salió.
Okay. Me dijeron que iba a salir hasta las 10, pero me dijeron que tenía que estar presente para enseñar, como era estudiante, que tenía que estar presente para que yo la dejaran salir.
They told me that she would be coming out at 10, but that I needed to be present because since she's a student, I needed to be present for her to be let out.
I said, probably, if there's a probability that
That
she-
it would be late tonight. It takes a long time for release. Let her know that.
It'll be sometime this evening or in the morning.
All right, so just so that I'm clear, will this lady need to be there either tonight or tomorrow morning?
Yes, if she's going to pick her up, we just can't guarantee the time. She will have to call her. Is that right, Deputy?
That is correct, Judge.
Ok, todavía no ha salido. Lo más probable es que salga en la noche o mañana en la mañana. Usted tiene que comunicarse a la cárcel para que le dejen saber cuándo sale.
Ok, una última cosa. A mí me dijeron que tenía que presentar prueba de dirección y mi identificación, pero no sé a quién.
One last thing, they told me I needed to bring proof of address and an ID, but I don't know who to give that to.
It's
I don't think that'll matter now, correct?
That is correct.
Ok, eso ya no importa ahora, no tiene que presentarlo.
It's
Nada
not
más
needed.
tiene. I'm sorry,
It's not needed.
no es necesario.
Because she is bonded out.
Porque ya salió, señora, ya salió. Entonces usted necesita llamar a la cárcel para averiguar a qué hora tiene que presentarse por ella.
Ok, perdón.
Ya.
Me dijeron que no importaba que fuera bonded out, tenía que presentar esa información porque ella es una estudiante y era otras reglas o pólizas que necesitaban. Entonces no quiero llegar con las manos vacías y me hagan regresar a mi casa.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I was told that because she's a student, it doesn't matter whether she bonded out, that I needed to have a proof of ID and a proof of residence.
only if the court requires a co-signer, but that's not the case at this time.
Señora, es únicamente si la corte, si el tribunal lo ordena, pero ese no es el caso en este momento. De todas
Okay.
formas, si le hace sentirse mejor, llévelos por si acaso.
Ok, gracias, muy amable.
Ok, señora, hasta luego. Puede apagar.
Ok, gracias.
Ok, de nada.
All right. Who do we have next, Deputy? Thank you, Madam Interpreter. We're putting you to work today.
You're welcome, Your Honor. That's what I'm
So
here.
we're back to number
Position 3, Mr.
3.
Escobar.
Thank you. All right. Raise your right hand for me. I guess you've already been interpreting today. Do you affirm that you will interpret from Spanish to English, English to Spanish, the best of your abilities and with no embellishments?
I do.
All right. Thank you. And thank you for helping us out. All right. This is again position 23 CR 0000957H. Elder Escobar Alvarez. You're charged with 1 count. Battery, family violence, offense date February 16, 2023. Pre-trial.
She got to interpret that, don't she?
Buenos
Oh,
días.
I forgot.
Este es el caso 23CR000957H. Es el caso del Estado en contra de Elder Escobar Álvarez por una acusación que es violencia doméstica ocurrida el 16 de febrero del 2023.
All right, this is third arrest. Last was 2018, driving without a valid license. And before that was 2013, alien removal under section 212 and 237. That's it.
All right.
Este es y esto es lo que tienen de antecedentes suyos. Este es el tercer arresto. En el 2018 fue arrestado por manejar sin una licencia de conducir y en el 2013 fue arrestado y removido por inmigración bajo las leyes 212 y 237.
All right. State, you may proceed.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. This case happened on yesterday evening, February 16th, 2023, at 1450 Raintree Way, Roswell, Georgia.
Okay, let's
Mhm.
hold that. You're gonna have to speak in chops for the interpreter. It was
Este
1450
caso,
Raintree Way.
ujú.
Yes.
Este caso ocurrió en la noche del 16 de febrero del 2023 en la dirección del 1450 Raintree Way en Roswell, Georgia.
Yes, this incident involved Miss Leslie Silva, spelled Lesly, Silva, Silva.
Este incidente envuelve a la señora Leslie Silva.
Yes, and officers responded to the location where Miss Silva was being followed by the defendant. Miss Silva was with her new boyfriend in his vehicle, and they arrived to an apartment complex where the defendant intended on confronting them because he suspected.
Hold on. That's a lot.
Okay.
It's okay.
That's a whole paragraph. And I
That's
know we're
okay.
not used to speaking in this way. Sometimes it's hard.
It's all right. I
get
can
it.
take notes,
And
Your
our
Honor.
interpreter is
It's okay.
very good. She gets most of it, but we don't want to give her too much. Okay.
Este incidente tuvo que ver con la señora Leslie Silva. Los agentes de policía respondieron a la ubicación ya mencionada porque la señora Silva dijo que les estaba siguiendo a ella y a su nuevo novio en un vehículo. Go ahead, Ms. Bickerstaff.
Yes. The defendant suspected Miss Silva to be cheating. So the defendant exited his vehicle.
El acusado estaba sospechando que la señora le estaba engañando y entonces se bajó del vehículo.
And opened the door to Miss Silva's boyfriend's vehicle and proceeded to punch Miss Silva in the face.
Y abrió la puerta del vehículo del señor que iba con la señora Silva y le dio un puñetazo en la cara.
The officers on scene observed redness and marks on Miss Silva's face.
Los agentes de policía observaron marcas en la cara de la señora Silva y la cara roja.
And the defendant admitted to the officer of punching Miss Silva in the face and stated that his emotions got the best of him.
El acusado admitió a la policía lo que había pasado y les dijo que su temperamento y sus emociones pues se llevaron lo mejor de él.
Yes, and however, the Miss Silva explained to our victim advocate that this is not the first time that the defendant has beat her.
La señora Silva le dijo a los consejeros de las víctimas que esta no es la primera vez que el acusado la había golpeado.
However, this is the first time she has reported being hit by the defendant.
Sin embargo, esta era la primera ocasión que ella reportó que el acusado le había pegado.
Ms. Silva explained that she has been afraid that the defendant's family would retaliate against her.
La señora Silva le dijo al policía que ella tiene miedo que la familia del acusado se vaya en contra de ella.
Yes, Your Honor, the defendant and Ms. Silva have 2 children together. They share a residence together and they share a cell phone bill together.
Su señoría, el acusado junto con la señora comparten una residencia, tienen 2 hijos y comparten también una cuenta de teléfonos celulares.
Yes, and because they share a residence together, the defendant has keys to that apartment in which Ms. Silva would like for the defendant to relinquish.
Porque comparten un departamento, una casa, la señora Silva quiere, obviamente el acusado tiene llaves de ese lugar y la señora Silva quiere que él entregue esas llaves.
Yes, and Ms. Silva also explained to our victim advocate that last night, someone was trying to kick down her apartment door, and she believes that it was the defendant's family member or friends, and she was very afraid for her safety last night.
Y también la señora Silva dijo que anoche alguien trató de patear o pegaban a patadas la puerta del departamento donde ella vivía y ella tiene miedo que eran amigos o familiares del acusado.
And lastly, Your Honor, the defendant has, Ms. Silva explained to our victim advocate that the defendant has stalked and threatened Ms. Silva since this past December, so December 2022, and that was their most recent breakup.
Y le explicó la señora Silva al consejero para víctimas de violencia que desde diciembre el acusado molestando y la está amenazando, y este fue nada más el último evento.
And Your Honor, for these reasons, we are worried about Ms. Silva's safety. We are asking for a $5,000 surety bond.
Por estas razones, nosotros estamos preocupados por el bienestar de la señora Silva y estamos pidiendo una fianza asegurada por $5,000.
We are also asking that the defendant has no future contact with Ms. Silva, and that if the defendant would like to see his children with Ms. Silva, there needs to be a third party contact available.
Que también estábamos pidiendo que no haya contacto futuro con la señora Silva de parte del acusado, y que para poder ver a sus hijos va a necesitar una tercera parte, una tercera persona que los recoja o los deje y los lleve entre los dos.
We are also asking for a stay away order from the former address, the residence that they shared together. That address is 1860 Franklin Gateway, Marietta, Georgia.
También estamos pidiendo una orden judicial para que se mantenga alejado de la dirección que compartían juntos, la 1860 Franklin Gateway en Marietta, Georgia.
And lastly, we're asking that the defendant takes a one-day anger management awareness course, and that the defendant does not partake in any alcohol, drugs, or has any weapons while on bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
También estamos pidiendo que el acusado tome una clase, un curso de un día para manejar la ira, y que mientras está en fianza, bajo fianza libre, no puede beber bebidas alcohólicas, no drogas y no armas.
And also, Your Honor, we'll like to sound for Ms. Silva at this time.
Ms. Silva, don't think
I can do that.
Okay.
Your Honor. Your Honor.
Yes.
I do apologize for interrupting. I have no objections to Ms. Silva sounding before or testifying before I do, but I do want to just clarify the stay away request from the state. Are they asking for a stay? I thought I heard stay away from the former address as opposed to stay away from the current address. I just want to be clear what the ask is.
Right.
Yes, I'm sorry, you all. I meant the current address, the shared address that they have together, but I don't believe that the defendant is currently staying at that address.
1860 Franklin Gateway?
Yes, that address.
Okay, thank you.
So the gateway is the shared address.
Yes,
According
Your
to
Honor.
my client, yes, Your Honor, that is his current address.
But you want the stay away from which address?
From the gateway address.
Okay. So who resides at Raintree Way?
Well, that's where the incident occurred, Your Honor. I believe that is where Ms. Silva's new boyfriend lives.
Okay.
That is actually Ms. Silva's mother's address, Your Honor,
Okay, I'm
and my
sorry.
client
Thank
doesn't
you.
live there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Okay.
Should I, Your Honor, should I just sound out for Ms. Silva?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Damas y caballeros, si es que la señora Leslie Silva está presente, por favor, puede prender su cámara y el micrófono. La señora Leslie Silva, si es que nos escucha y está presente, por favor, prenda su cámara y el teléfono y el micrófono.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Honor. Mr. Escobar. My apologies, Mr. Elder Escobar Alvarez is 25 years old.
El señor Elder Escobar. Oh, hold on. Let me, Your Honor, I'm sorry, there's somebody that just popped out on the screen. Let me just double check. Señora, en la pantalla veo Leslie Gudiño. ¿Es usted Leslie Silva?
Sí, yo Leslie Silva.
Okay, yes, that is Miss Leslie Gudiño Silva on the screen, Your Honor.
All right. All right, go ahead, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Elder has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 9 years and 3 months.
El señor Elder Escobar Álvarez ha estado en el área de Atlanta por 9 años y 3 meses.
He shares 2 children, ages 16 months. No, I'm sorry, ages 6 and 19 months with Ms. Silva, the complaining witness.
Él comparte 2 hijos con la señora Silva, un hijo de 6 años y uno de 19 meses.
He also has additional family here, including 8 siblings, his mother and aunts.
Y tiene más familia él aquí también. Tiene 8 hermanos y hermanas, su mamá y sus tíos.
Mr. Escobar Alvarez completed 10th grade and he is self-employed as a tree cutter.
Él terminó el 10º grado y él trabaja por su cuenta cortando árboles.
Regarding the allegations, Your Honor, my client is presumed innocent and we are denying the allegations today.
En cuanto a las alegaciones y acusaciones, mi cliente es presuntamente inocente, entonces estamos negando todas las alegaciones el día de hoy.
As we heard from pretrial, Mr. Escobar Alvarez does not have any prior arrests for violence.
Como escuchamos de la información anterior al juicio, el señor Escobar Álvarez no tiene ningún arresto por cosas de violencia.
In fact, his last arrest was in 2018 for a driving offense.
El último arresto fue en el 2018 por una ofensa al conducir.
We heard from the state many accusations that at this time, Your Honor, are not accused and or indicted, including stalking and home invasion.
Escuchamos de la fiscalía acusaciones que no están, que no han sido entregadas o presentadas hasta el día de hoy, incluyendo invasión a una casa y también vigilancia.
And would ask that the judge, ask that Your Honor make a bond recommendation on the accusation that is before Your Honor, which is battery family violence.
Y le pedimos a su señoría, a la juez, que haga una recomendación en cuanto a fianza únicamente en la acusación que existe, que es la acusación de violencia doméstica.
We are requesting a signature bond and we are unopposed to the stay away and no contact provisions.
Estamos pidiendo una fianza bajo firma únicamente y estamos de acuerdo con la orden de que se mantenga alejado de la casa, del lugar de vivienda.
However, Your Honor, we are requesting a one-time law enforcement escort so that Mr. Escobar may retrieve his belongings from the 1860 Franklin Gateway, Marietta, Georgia address.
Estamos pidiendo al tribunal una escolta judicial o policíaca para que vaya con él a la dirección del 1860 Franklin Gateway para recoger todas sus pertenencias personales.
And finally, we are unopposed to the state's request for third-party transfer.
Y también no nos oponemos al requisito del Estado, de la Fiscalía, para visitas se transfieran los niños con una tercera persona.
Nothing further, thank you.
All right. All right. Ms. Silva, do you wish to address the court today?
Señora Silva, ¿quiere decirle usted algo al tribunal el día de hoy?
No.
All right, thank you. All right, I am ready to give my ruling.
Entonces estoy lista para darme mi fallo.
All right, I am going to order a $5,000 surety bond.
Voy a ordenar primero una fianza asegurada con $5,000.
I'm going to order no further contact with Ms. Leslie Silva or Gudino, whichever her last name is.
Nada de contacto con la señora Leslie Gudiño Silva.
Quería decirles algo. Ella me
No.
Please remain silent.
Estamos escuchando el fallo de la juez. Usted tiene la oportunidad de decir lo que quiera en su audiencia.
He can speak to his attorney afterwards if he has questions about the bond.
Usted puede hablar con la abogada después si tiene preguntas sobre la fianza.
All right, I'm going to order a stay away from the 1860 Franklin Gateway in Marietta.
Le voy a hacer una orden judicial de que necesita permanecer alejado de la dirección del 1650 o 650 de Franklin Gateway en Marietta.
I'm going to order if there's visitation allowed with the children, that be facilitated by a third-party transfer or a third-party person to help do the transfer.
Voy a ordenar que las visitas con los hijos y la coordinación de mover a los niños de un lugar al otro sea coordinada con una tercera persona.
And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Y mientras está bajo fianza, no puede tomar bebidas alcohólicas, no puede usar drogas y no puede poseer ningún tipo de arma.
And I'm going to order that he return his keys to that apartment. And I just need to know where he should take them or who he should give them to. Do you all know that, Ms. Gant?
I don't know. The police department, perhaps.
And I'm assuming this is the second set. So if he does that, then they would call Ms. Silva to come and retrieve them. I think that's probably the safest way, unless Deputy Falk has another suggestion for me.
Let me just clarify something. PD Gant, did you ask for a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve belongings?
I am. I was about to bring that up after.
Okay, so I feel like this could maybe be resolved by giving the key to the law enforcement officer who escorts him to drop off the items.
Thank you.
His items.
Right, thank you. All right. Any other suggestions? I see the victim advocate on the line as well. All right, we will do it that way. Did you have any other suggestions?
No, ma'am, that's what I was going to say.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will order that one-time police escort back to the location. And remember, Ms. Silva, he is not to return there without the police escort, and that is only one time.
Escobar, it's Escobar to return the one time.
I said he. Yeah, he is not to. I wanted her to explain that to the victim.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor. Entonces, esto está una explicación para los dos. La orden judicial, la orden de la juez es que usted, señor Álvarez, solamente puede regresar a la casa en Marietta, al departamento que compartían juntos, una sola vez, y eso es con una escolta policial. Solamente puede ir con una policía a recoger todas sus pertenencias y tiene que devolver las llaves de ese departamento a esa policía, a esa escolta policíaca el día que vaya a recogerlas.
And at that time, he will give that extra set of keys to the police, who will then give them to Ms. Silva.
Y ese día usted le da ese juego de llaves a la policía y la policía se la entregaría a la señora Silva.
And I think that is it. Is there anything else that I need to order? Attorneys?
Nothing
Your
for the
Honor.
defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Y eso es todo entonces. Your Honor, do I need to ask if he wants to speak to his attorney? Because he's raising his hand.
Well, he can't do it on this, in this format.
right.
She will be over there to speak to him later. If you
Well,
let him
I'm-
know that, or
I'm
I should
happy-
call.
I'm happy to call, if I may ask that the interpreter be allowed to stay on a little bit more so that when the moment arises, I can address Mr. Escobar Alvarez.
So when we finish with this case, if the next case is not yours, you'll be able to call.
Do we want to be
Hopefully.
okay, I'm sorry, is it a telephone call or are we going to be transferred to another Zoom room?
So you're gonna have to do a three-way call. Because
Okay,
once I take them out this courtroom, I'm taking them back to intake to hold it.
okay, thank you.
Okay, so,
Madam Interpreter, may you place your telephone number in the chat
yeah, and is it to
to
you?
me,
Ms.
to
Gant?
me?
Okay.
Yeah, Wanda Gant, PD Wanda Gant.
And again, you can call the 22392 number.
All right,
1 second. Let me-
okay.
Oh, here, PD Wanda Gant. Okay, I'm
And-
doing that.
And you're free to
actually,
go, Miss Silva. Thank you.
Gracias, señora Silva, puede
Oh.
irse. And I just
Hey,
want,
you go.
did you receive that, Ms. Gant?
Received, thank you.
Okay, so Your Honor, if that is all, I would log off and I will just wait for the phone call from Ms. Gant.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And Your Honor, what was that bond amount for Escobar?
$5,000 surety bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good
All
week.
right, thank you. You too.
Next, we have position number 12, Mr. Mario Rose.
This is position number 1223 CR 0000940J. Mario Rhodes, charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence. Offense date February 16, 2023.
I got first arrest.
Thank you. State?
Yes, Your Honor. This happened yesterday at 9 a.m. at 950 Marietta Street Northwest in Atlanta, apartment 4104. The victim in this case is Vanessa Campesino. That is VANNESSA, CAMPESINO. She also goes by the last name Montano. She stated that, well, she didn't state, but there were 3 witnesses who were at that location who observed the defendant having an altercation with her and then observed him strike her with a closed fist to her head while they were on the balcony. At the time, Ms. Campesino and the defendant have been living together for 7 months. So as a result of seeing this, Dale Carey, who's one of the witnesses, then got into a fight with the defendant when he told the defendant not to put his hands on Ms. Campesino, and the defendant then approached him in an aggressive manner. Mr. Carey was struck in the mouth as a result, and the defendant was struck as well and taken to the hospital. We had an opportunity to speak to Ms. Montano. She denies that she was struck in the head. However, that is contradicted by 3 separate witnesses to the event who all saw the defendant strike her in the head. Additionally, we have been listening to the jail calls of the defendant where he has been apologizing for his behavior, although he's not been specific about what he did, but he is apologetic when he's talking to Ms. Montano. For those reasons, Your Honor, we do have some concerns that Ms. Montano may not take her own safety as seriously as we do in regards to this incident. We are therefore asking for no further contact with Miss Campesino, a $3,000 surety bond, stay away from 950 Marietta Street Northwest, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 1-day anger awareness. I will also state that since this happened yesterday, we don't feel there has been a sufficient cooling off period at this point to allow these two individuals to be back together. I am going to sound for Miss Campesino or Miss Montano if she is here in the court. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Montesino, Montesino,
Montano or Campesino.
or Montano, I think I
know
said
when
that
she talked to our
backwards.
victim advocate, she said Vanessa Montano. So
Okay, Montano.
Mhm.
In the courtroom, Your Honor, she's present at the jail.
She's at the jail. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Claremont. So, Your Honor, you may, I don't know if Your Honor would
Does
like
she
to
wish to address the court or not?
Or
Yeah, did you want to address the court? Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah.
Is it possible that I say something?
No, please do not say anything. You have a right to remain silent. It is your constitutional right. We don't want you to hurt your case by accident.
Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead and stand to the side for me. Get up and stand to the side for me.
All right.
Stand on this side over here. Okay, come stand right here, please. She's present, Judge.
All right, ma'am, you're Vanessa
That's my
Montano.
Vanessa Campesino.
Okay. Do you wish to address the court briefly?
Yes.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, are you in fear of Mr. Mario Rhodes?
No, ma'am.
Put your hand down for me. You're not in fear of him?
No, ma'am.
All right, and you were residing with him on Marietta Street?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and do you wish him to come back to that residence?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any children together?
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. That's all the questions I have. Any cross-examination by Deputy Falk or PD Kim?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your time. All right, the state, you were complete, Deputy Falk? Okay, oh,
My turn, Your Honor.
Yes, I was done.
okay, all right, PD Kim?
Yes, Mr. Maria Rhodes, he's 21 years old and he graduated from high school successfully in 2019. Did he preparing to go to college? So he went to go get transcripts for high school to be ready. And he took SAT, ACT, he's working hard to go to college, and he's also working as a forklift operator at ABW Industrial. He also has another job fair tomorrow where he's gonna go get extra job so that way he can have a multiple income stream to save more for his college education. Your Honor, he is a single, and the apartment where they reside is actually her apartment. So if it is, my client says he can go to his mother's house. So hopefully that, he's not opposed to stay away. And it was actually, he was punched by his neighbor. So he's kind of very confused why he's the one who got arrested when it was him who was actually punched by neighbor. One of those three witnesses was the one that he punched him. We would like to request for signature on bond This is his first offense, and we would like to also request that if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, it will be a maximum $1,000 good bond. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order that there be a stay away from 950 Marietta Street Northwest. Want to make sure there's been ample cooling down. Apartment number 4014. The defendant needs to, if he makes bond, go reside somewhere else. I am going to order no further contact with the victim, Vanessa Campesino Montano. He's to have no further contact with her. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that will be it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the state.
All right, thank you.
Position number 1. Batiste.
This is 23 CR 0000956A. This is it Noni Batiste Casoko? Or
Yes,
Casako? Casoko? Sorry if I mispronounced it. You're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property. The offense date is February 1st, 2023, pretrial.
Second adult arrest. Last arrest was in December for trespass. That appears to be open out of Union City.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor. This offense happened on February the 1st, 2023 at 7510 Hall Road, Fairburn, Georgia, which is Langston Hughes High School. The defendant, officers responded to the location where the defendant had entered the high school through an unlocked door without permission, without authority. And the defendant walked into an art classroom where the defendant proceeded to deface the art room's walls and tables with paint. The officer on scene asked the defendant whether she was on drugs, and the defendant stated that she was not. However, the defendant did explain that she had just been released from a mental health facility the day before, and that the defendant suffers from autism and drug abuse. The defendant also stated to the officer at the time that it was her dying wish to attend Langston Hughes High School. Your Honor, the bond on this case was already set for $1,000 surety bond. And we just ask that the defendant stay away from Langston Hughes High School. And we are also seeking a MHET.
All right, PD Kim. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Ms. Gant? No.
Yes, Your Honor.
Whose case is it? Who's handling case number 1, Batiste? PD Kim, PD Gant.
Your Honor, I do apologize. I had the audio muted while I was talking to my client. I do apologize, but I am representing position 1.
Okay, thank you. You may present.
I did not hear any of the argument. I do apologize, or the presentation.
The state is asking for a $1,000 surety bond and an MHET and a stay away from Langston Hughes High School.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Noni Batiste Kosoko is 18 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 6 months. She lives with her father, Your Honor. She does not have any children. She is not in school at this time, although she is planning to return to school at the first opportunity. She completed up to the 11th grade. She's unemployed, but also seeking employment as well. We are denying the allegations today. We are requesting a signature bond as she does not have the means to pay anything toward bond. I did speak with her father, Tony Kasoko. He states that he is willing to serve as a co-signer. He states that he doesn't have much to pay toward bond as he is working 2 jobs to take care of my client, and he also has another child. He does not have a utility bill, so if Your Honor orders a signature bond, I would ask that Your Honor waive that. And lastly, regarding the stay away, we are unopposed there. I do not have any concerns about my client's competency. I had the luxury to interview her. However, I am unopposed to a BHET evaluation to better determine Ms. Batiste Kosoko's needs. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, pretrial, she needs a co-signer or not?
Oh, she wasn't recommended, so it's up to you. She got open case.
Oh, that's right. And I was focusing at the moment on the fact of her being 18. I'm going to order that the bond stay the same at the $1,000 surety bond. I'm going to again order the stay away from Langston Hughes High School. And I'm going to order the MHET at this point so that we can find out if we have any issues there and to follow the treatment that is recommended.
Is Your Honor ordering BHET or the mental health evaluation?
Which one was requested by the state?
Mental health.
Yes.
Yes, MHET. And I believe, again, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And that should conclude the order of this case.
Position number 16, Ms. Turner.
This is case number 23-000. I'm sorry, 23-CR-000-944Y, Raven Turner, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, offense date 9/11/2021, pretrial.
First.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor, that is my case. The facts of the case are as follows. This incident happened back in, let me just take a moment, September 11th, 2021 at 174 First Street. Ms. Abernathy told police, Brittany Abernathy, told police that she had an altercation with her girlfriend, the defendant. She stated that they were at the house that the defendant was at her house to retrieve her belongings. They began arguing. She did present the court the officer with surveillance video that showed the verbal altercation happening, but not the physical altercation. But as a result of the physical altercation, Ms. Abernathy suffered injuries to her, scratches and bruises on her face, arms, mouth, and body. She and the defendant had been in a relationship for approximately 1 year when this happened. I understand that this defendant does not have a criminal history, but we do have concerns regarding the nature of this offense, the fact that Ms. Abernathy had extensive injuries that were observed by the officers. To that end, we are requesting a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Brittany Abernathy. That is Brittany common spelling, Abernathy common spelling. We are also asking for a stay away order from 174 First Street, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 1-day anger awareness. I would also like to sound for Ms. Abernathy, please.
Brittany Abernathy. Don't think she's on.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 32 years old. As the prosecutor said, she has absolutely no criminal history. She is gainfully employed as an entrepreneur. She owns her own business, and she's currently studying for her real estate license, which she expects to have shortly. Your Honor, my client was the victim here. She tells me she was in a relationship that was absolutely toxic, from which she tried to get away. When she was trying to get her things, she was actually attacked by Brittany. And she told me that she shared with the detective who had contacted her photographs of the injuries that she had. My understanding is that the complaining witness was also arrested at some point in time, and rightly so, because she did attack my client. I'm going to ask the court to give my client a signature bond so she can get out of jail and get on with her life. She's no longer in contact with Miss Abernathy and wants no contact with Miss Abernathy. She does not live at the location where this incident happened, because when it happened, she was actually trying to move away from there and was being prevented from doing so by Miss Abernathy. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $3,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order a stay away from 174 First Street. I'm going to order no further contact with Brittany Abernathy. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And that's all I will order at this time. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right.
Position number 7, Your Honor.
This is 23 CR 0000950G. Hatib Mabawi, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. That offense date is February the 16th, 2023. Pre-trial.
I got this. This is second arrest. 2010 shoplifting. Dismissed.
All right. All right, ASG Rogers.
Yes, Your Honor. On yesterday, February the 16th of 2023, officers arrived to 3150 Roswell Road, apartment 901 at around 2:30 a.m. In reference to a dispute. Upon arrival, officers spoke with Adam Bunce, who reported that the defendant, Mr. Mutue, was beating his girlfriend. Officers then proceeded to go to the apartment in question on the 9th floor, and they spoke with Miss Tiara Thomas, first name T-E-A-I-R-A, last name Thomas, common spelling, who told officers that her and the defendant were in a verbal argument because he felt that she didn't have his back when he was arguing with the aforementioned Mr. Bunce. Officers noticed that Miss Thomas was wearing a hat. They asked her to remove it. She stated she didn't want to remove it because of her hair. She stated she just wanted to collect her things and go to a hotel. So officers waited for her to collect her things. While she was collecting her things, Miss Thomas ended up throwing some water at the defendant. At that point in time, officers detained Miss Thomas, and they removed her hat. Well, she removed her hat at that time and showed them that she had a knot on her head, some swelling, and she stated that the defendant, that was a result of the defendant striking her. So at that time, the defendant was taken into custody for battery. The state is requesting a $4,000 surety bond, a stay away order, no further contact with Miss Thomas, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. We also ask that the court sound for Miss Thomas at the appropriate time. Nothing further from the state.
All right. Miss Tiara Thomas. All right, Ms. Gant, PD Gant.
My understanding is that Ms. Thomas was in custody this morning. I did speak with her and she had planned to remain in the courtroom so that she could address the court. So if she is there, she would be in courtroom 2 or courtroom 3.
Deputies, do you have Sierra Thomas in either courtroom?
Did NOD her case?
Yes, we NOD'd her case.
She's not here, Your Honor.
Okay, so she's probably being processed for release. All right, go ahead, Ms. Gant.
Yes, Your Honor. Hatib Mabawi is 31 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 14 years. He does not have any children. He states that he has family, including aunts and uncles in the Atlanta, Georgia area, but he's not in contact with him. He does not have any resources to any contacts to bond him out. He doesn't have a cell phone. He doesn't recall any of the numbers. Mr. Mabawi completed high school. He is currently self-employed. He owns an LLC. He's been has been working in this capacity for about 5 years, and he, I guess, rents out Airbnbs. Your Honor, my client strongly denies the allegations. He states that he never made any physical contact with Ms. Mabawi, and I would just bring to the court's attention that Ms. Thomas was very reluctant in even reporting this incident, Your Honor. It is after she, in fact, was arrested or detained that she stated that my client had done anything to her. When I spoke to her this morning, she stated that she wanted to continue having contact with my client. My client also wants to have continued contact. So in addition to the signature bond that I'm requesting in light of my client's negative history for any convictions and his remote arrest for nonviolent offense in 2010, I'm requesting a signature bond. I am opposed to the stay away. Mr. Mabawi informs me that that is his residence. He's very concerned about getting back home because when he and the complaining witness was arrested, his home was left unsecured and he has a dog there. We are requesting no violent contact. And this concludes my argument. Thank you.
Okay. I want to make sure that there's been the proper cooling down period. And I'm going to order the $4,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from the incident location. I'm going to order that there be no further contact with the victim, Tierra Thomas. And I'm going to order that there be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
And may Your Honor add a one-time law enforcement escort so that he can retrieve his belongings?
Yes, one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve his belongings. And that should conclude this case. Is that correct?
Nothing further from the defense.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Position number 17.
This is 23 CR 0000945F. Spencer Westmoreland, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Offense date February the 15th, 2023. Retrial.
Second arrest, last was 2008, assault with a deadly weapon. Cruelty to children. Charges was dropped in both of those. That's it.
All right. State.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear what pretrial said. It may have been because my volume was a little low. When you stated the previous charges, you said the charges were dropped on those?
Yes.
Yes.
He did.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so this incident happened on February 15th, so 2 days ago, at 2950 Springdale Road, apartment H1 in Atlanta. This involved Miss Sharon Westmoreland. They are legally married and have a child together, as well as live at the same residence. Miss Westmoreland was stated to the police that she had been in an altercation with the defendant when he jumped on her. He could not find some CBD that had been purchased because she threw it in the trash because she felt that he was not supposed to smoke it due to some MH issues. She stated that he became irate when she told him that she couldn't find it. He grabbed her purse, grabbed his debit card from it, and that while she was laying on the couch, he physically jumped on her and attacked her. She then stated her son got up to pull him off, and the roommate, who's David Johnson, interceded in order to protect the son of Mr. and Mrs. Westmoreland. During the struggle, the defendant struck Miss Moreland in her face with an open hand, which caused a 4-inch scratch and swelling to her left eye, and that was documented by the body-worn camera. In order to protect herself, Miss Westmoreland stated she bit the defendant on the stomach to get him off of her. I just want to point out that the victim in this case, that the defendant in this case is 4'9" and the location of the bite mark is about where he would have been standing while striking Miss Westmoreland. The officers heard a different version of events from Mr. Westmoreland, but determined that Mr. Westmoreland, the defendant, was the primary aggressor because of not only the nature of the bite, but the individuals who were also at the scene, which was the son and the roommate at the time. So the state does have some concerns here in regards to the lack of cooling off, as well as the danger to Miss Westmoreland. We feel that there has been, that this definitely got out of hand, that it resulted in some injury to her, and this happened in front of her son as well as in front of a third party. And so we do have concerns about the nature of this case and the risk of reoffense. For those reasons, the state is asking for a $4,000 surety bond, no further contact with Miss Westmoreland. We are further asking for no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a stay away order from the residence. And the state would like to sound for Miss Sharon Westmoreland to see if she is here in the court.
Sharon Westmoreland. Sharon Westmoreland.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Someone is signing on with a different name, but maybe that's not, okay. Just making sure. All right, go ahead, Miss McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 43 years old. He has no criminal history at all. There was a remote arrest sometime, I believe, in 2008. But I want to point out that he has been married to the alleged victim for 20 years, and they share an 18-year-old son. My client denies that he was the aggressor here, and he was actually the one who called the police, Your Honor, because he was attacked. My client, as the prosecutor said, is quite short. He's quite a petite person. And he says that he was the one who was attacked, and the story was spun. He left the house because he left the house so he could call the police, not for any other reason. He was the one, and that is undisputed, that called the police because he needs help. He needed help because he was being attacked by his wife. He has told me, Your Honor, that he does not object to no further contact at all, but he will need a one-time escort to go back to the house because he does have things there that he needs to get, including his wallet and some personal belongings. So we would like to request a one-time police escort to go back to the location so that he can get his belongings, Your Honor. I am going to ask for a signature bond for my client, given the fact that he has no criminal history, and he tells me that more than likely their relationship is going to end up in a divorce, just based on how things have been going in the past several months, and he doesn't really wish to live there any longer. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to order the $4,000 surety bond. Make sure there's been ample cooling off. I'm going to order the stay away from 2950 Springdale Road, apartment number H1. I'm going to order no further contact with the defendant, I'm sorry, with the victim rather, Sharon Westmoreland. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else, counsel?
Your Honor, he will need a one-time police escort to go back.
All right. One-time law enforcement escort to retrieve his personal belongings. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, that concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Judge. Same to you.
Mhm.
Position number 15, Teal.
This is case number 23 CR 0000943C, Christopher Teal, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, family violence, offense date 9/16/2021. Pretrial.
20 total. Last arrest was back in March. Participation in criminal street gang activity, 2 counts. That was out of DeKalb County. That's open, along with the criminal damage to property, ag assault, possession of marijuana, and obstruction. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon. On probation for sale of marijuana. In 2018, they gave him 1 year to serve and 4 years probation for that. Hold on real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on for a minute. All right, what we got? We got ag assault. Okay, that's the open case in the cab. May 2021, sale of marijuana, possession of a firearm by convicted felon or felony first offender, 2 counts. 2020 probation, trespass conviction 2020 out of the cab, reckless conduct, possession of drug-related objects conviction 2019 DeKalb County, 2018 failure to appear for marijuana, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission, sale of marijuana, that was from 2016 DeKalb, burglary conviction from 2011 out of DeKalb County, 2011 you got more probations and FTAs. That's it.
All right, state.
Yes, Judge. Good afternoon.
Good
ASG
afternoon.
Fortune for the state. Thank you, ma'am. As you noted, this offense happened back on September the 16th of 2021 at the incident location of 600 Martin Street, Southeast, apartment L4 here in Atlanta, Georgia. The victim is Barbara Patterson, was at home. She does have a child with the defendant. She did call officers after Mr. Teal approached her home. He knocked on the door of the residence. She said that she did not wish to let him in the home. However, he did then began to kick the door so hard that it actually broke the door frame. The door, as to my understanding, has not been replaced as of yet. I do believe, though, that Ms. Patterson has since moved. Pretrial has briefly went over his history, Judge, and we do want to iterate that he does have a number of FTAs and violation of probations. He's shown that he's not a good candidate to come to court if given a signature bond. We would ask for a $2,000 good bond, Judge. We would also ask for a no further contact with Ms. Patterson. We would ask that he stay away from the incident location. Well, I guess that's a moot point since she's moved, but she does not. She's told her advocate that she wishes that he does not know where she stays. Also, we would ask for 1-day anger awareness. We would ask for no alcohol, drugs, or weapon, and they do share 3 children, Judge. So we would just ask for a third-party exchange for those children. Judge, we believe that he may intimidate the witness. Ms. Patterson did report to officers that he has sent messages saying that he doesn't mind having a charge for coming to her home. So with all that being in mind, Judge, we believe that the $2,000 good bond is fair and reasonable with the special conditions.
Okay. I'm going to I'm sorry.
Oh,
PD,
I thought you were going to announce for Barbara Patterson.
we'll see if Barbara Patterson is on the line. Is Barbara Patterson on the Zoom? All right, go ahead, PD Kim. I'm sorry.
That's okay, Your Honor. Christopher Till is 30 years old, Your Honor, and this incident happened in 2021. And they do have 6 children, and yet they do not live together anymore. They broke up and they live separately, and my client does not have contact with her anymore. So we are okay with a stay away from her and no further contact, as long as my client has third-party transfer for child visitation of 6 children. He completed GED, and he is currently not working. He just got out of the jail not that long ago, and he was incarcerated for more than a year because of his violation, FTA, all the kind of stuff. So he was already punished for all those. I don't think that he should be punished again. The purpose of bond is for him to make sure that he comes back to the court, and he is surely wanting to come back when he has to come back. He has a good address. He's gonna reside with his mother at Stone Mountain, and he has a good phone number to contact. So we would like to request for a signature on bond for this case. Thank you.
All right, I noticed that the offense date was September the 16th, 2021. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, I am going to grant a $3,000 surety bond due to the criminal history and making sure that the victims are safe, but a $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order that there be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order that there be a stay away from the 600 Martin Street Southeast, apartment L4. No further violent contact with Barbara Patterson. And I think that will be it. Do we still need a third-party transfer on the children?
With no further violent contact, I think it should be okay, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. So
Thank
hopefully
you.
there will be no violence if there's any exchange of visitation with the children. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
Position 14, Story.
Okay. (23 CR 0000942B) Marquise Story, charge of 1 count of battery family violence. Offense date is May 15th, 2021. Pre-trial.
25 total. Open case, possession of cocaine, loitering and prowling. That's 18 SC 161931. Got an open case for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 2 counts. Possession of a firearm during the commission, 15 SC 138716. All right, last arrest was 2018. That was for the possession of cocaine. 2018 probation. 2015 was the ag assault, 2 counts, and a parole. Another 2015 parole violation. Got a simple battery and battery that was dismissed from 2013. 2013 parole violation. He had a false imprisonment with some CWAC charges that was not presented to grand jury. That was from 2011. Let's see, you got drugs from 07. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, state. Mr. Fortune, we can't hear you. Okay.
Can you all hear me?
We say that again?
Okay, I'm sorry, Judge. I lost connection on my laptop. I had to log
Okay.
in. I do
All right.
apologize.
Go ahead.
All right, and so we're on Mr. Story. Okay, so this
Yes.
incident happened back on May the 15th of 2021 at the incident location of 1217 Lorenzo Drive, southwest here in Atlanta, Georgia. This incident did involve the defendant's father, Mr. Blaine Story. Officers did respond to that location on the incident date. They met with Mr. Story, who advised that his son punched him in the face because Mr. Story wanted to talk to the defendant about contributing to the household. The blow to Mr. Story did cause a small laceration to his forehead and also some swelling. While Mr. Blaine Story called 911 and was on the phone with the dispatcher, the defendant then fled the scene on foot. The pretrial is told the court about his 25 cycles in his criminal history. I would like the court to point out he has a recent simple battery conviction, case number 19 CR 000163B as in boy, out of Fulton County in 2019. I think that shows his risk of reoffending and just his level of criminal activity as well. We think that he may have issues with intimidating witness because the victim, because the victim is his father. And also, Judge, we would like to point out that he has several FTAs, a violation of probation, as well as a parole violation. We would ask for a $3,000 good bond. We would ask for no further contact with Mr. Blaine Story, the victim in this case. We would ask for a stay away from the incident location earlier mentioned. We would also ask for 10 days anger management, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and we would like to sound for Mr. Blaine Story.
All right, Mr. Blaine Story, are you on the Zoom? Blaine Story. All right, go ahead, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Marquis Story is 38 years old and he was born and raised here in Georgia. This incident happened about 2 years ago, Your Honor. And he says it actually was his father who was the first aggressor. His father pushed him down, so he was trying to get out of the way. And Your Honor, my client, he resides separately all by himself in a totally different address. So we have no objection to stay away from that location. And we have no objection to no further contact either, even though it happened a long time ago. My client is working at Express Employment at the warehouse as a worker. He has GED and he does make income. So he's not going to be qualified for public defender service after this bond hearing. We would like to request for a signature on bond since this happened remotely, and last charge 2019 is also somewhat remote, and he's trying to get back to his life. I think he should go back to work and be productive citizen. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order a $4,000 signature bond through the jail. And I am going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 1217 Lorenzo Drive Southwest in Atlanta. And I'm going to order no further contact with his father, Blaine Story. And I believe that is it. Anything else?
Nothing from say.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Position number 2.
This is 23 CR 0009518, Carl Cowart one count of criminal trespass. Offense date, February 16, 2023, pretrial.
This is fourth arrest. Last was back in March. DUI suspended license. That's out of Norcross. He had a reckless driving NOLO from 2016. And he had first offender for forgery in the first degree. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 counts. That was from 2008. So he just got the open case, the open DUI suspended license. And a hold out of Sandy Springs. That's it.
All right.
Well, and a hold out of Norcross, actually.
Okay. All right, State.
Yes, Your Honor. This offense occurred yesterday, February 16th, 2023 at 1375 Northside Drive, Northwest Atlanta, which is the in-town suites, where the defendants, where the officers responded to the above that location where the defendant was asked to leave the premises by the manager, and the defendant did exit the premises, but then he returned and proceeded to walk up and down the stairs of the premises, and then he began banging and kicking on the front door. For this reason, Your Honor, we, the state, are asking for a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. We're asking for a stay away order from the in-town suites, the address, the 1375 Northside Drive, Northwest Atlanta. And we're also asking that the defendant does not partake in any alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense is unopposed to the $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. We are also unopposed to the stay away, but ask for a one-time law enforcement escort, as Mr. Coward states that he still has belongings at the incident location. Mr. Coward is 39 years old. At this time, he is residentially challenged, Your Honor. He states that he has a daughter. He does have a child support order in place, and he's trying his best to stay current on that. Mr. Coward completed high school. He also has an MBA. He graduated from Grand Canyon University, and he studied management information systems. However, Your Honor, he is not working in that field. He is employed at Oceanair. He is a server there. He strongly denies the allegations. He states that on February 15th, the property manager locked him out of his room. He states that he returned on the 16th so that he could resolve the matter and retrieve his belongings. He states that at that time, the property manager would not assist him. He states that he called the police then. The property manager called the police then. He states that he returned again and found that his belongings were outside and that someone had gone through his belongings. He states that when he approached the person who was going through his belongings, this person pointed a gun at him and hit him in the back of the head. He states that after this, he again tried to go to the property manager to report that he had been assaulted and that someone still, basically is going through his things. He states that the property manager called the police on him again. So it seems that this is clearly a misunderstanding. My client is the victim here, as the defense sees it. So we would ask, Your Honor, in light of my client's living situation, his relatively, clean background, that Your Honor go ahead and grant my client the signature bond as requested. Thank you.
All right. I will go ahead. Since the state has recommended the $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge, I will order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I will order a stay away from the in-town suites on Northside Drive. And I think that is it. Is there anything else, council?
One-time law enforcement, Your Honor.
Ooh. I guess one-time law enforcement escort back to that location to retrieve his personal belongings if they're still there. Only go back with law enforcement. All right, anything else?
Nothing further. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position number 6.
'23 CR 000-949E. This is Fritz Michelle or Mitch. Is this Mr. Michelle?
I'm Mr. Michelle.
Okay. You're charged with 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is 12/20/2022. Pre-trial.
This is 9th arrest. He got a hold out of Conyers for shoplifting. Last arrest was 2020 probation. That was out of Conyers. 2019 misdemeanor possession of marijuana, tampering with evidence, not prosecuted. Before that was the shoplifting conviction. Suspended license, he pled NOLO in 2018. 2017 misdemeanor possession of marijuana, dismissed. Got a shoplifting and possession of tools conviction from 2017 out of Conyers. 2014 misdemeanor possession of marijuana. It was a conditional discharge. 2013 shoplifting, dismissed. That's it.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. On December the 12th of 2022, officers arrived to 901 Bolton Road in reference to a dispute. Upon arrival, they spoke with a Shantoy Linton, first name Shantoy, last name Linton, common spelling. Ms. Linton told officers that she had went through her boyfriend's phone, Mr. Fritz Michelle phone, and discovered that he was cheating. They were involved in a physical altercation. Later on, she was laying on the couch and the defendant approached her, took her phone, and told her she had to leave the residence. He then grabbed her by the neck and held her down, injuring her right arm and leaving a scratch on her neck. Ms. Linton, she left the location without her belongings and she called police. And that's when the report was made. The state is recommending a $3,500 surety bond, a stay away order, no further contact, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And we also ask that the court sound for Ms. Linton at the appropriate time, Your Honor. Nothing further from the state.
And what was that recommendation amount again?
$3,500 surety bond.
All right. Shantoy Linton. Shantoy Linton, I see the name there.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If you wish to address the court, you must turn on your camera.
Okay.
Do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you put your hand down. Are you in fear of Mr. Fritz Michelle?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do you all still reside together?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any children together?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions. Do you have any cross-examination, ASG Rogers?
No, ma'am.
All right. Any cross-examination, Ms. Gant?
Excuse me, no cross-examination, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Linton, for your time. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Fritz Michelle is 28 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 3 years. He is the proud father of a 2-year-old son. He has full custody of this child. He is not receiving any child support, Your Honor. And at this time, his sister has his son. He was actually on the way taking his child to daycare when he was arrested, Your Honor. Mr. Michelle completed high school. He also has an associate's degree in physical therapy. He was just, he has a new job. He works at Syncrian. He has been in that job for about 2 weeks. Certainly, he is on probation in that position. So we are anxious to get him released so that he can return to work and continue providing for his son. Your Honor, he strongly denies the allegations. He states that this never happened. He states that he was asking Miss Linton, the complaining witness, to leave his residence. He states that she was banging on the door trying to get her ID, not a phone, but her ID. And he states that because he had the 2-year-old son there, he did not want to have any altercations or any disturbances, further disturbances of the peace. He tells me that she didn't call the police because he hit her, but because she would not give him his ID. This incident occurred back in December. My client certainly was unaware of the warrant. I did reach out to Ms. Linton to determine whether or not she wanted to continue having my contact with my client. She informed me that she wishes to continue. You heard her address the court to state that she's not afraid of Mr. Fritz. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Fritz's behalf. I do acknowledge that he does have some history, but Your Honor, none of his prior convictions involve violence. We are opposed to any stay away orders, as that is my client's residence where he raises his son. We would ask the court for no violent contact. This concludes my argument. Thank you.
Do we know whose name is on the lease?
Mr. Fritz, Michelle's name is on the lease, Your Honor.
Ms. Linton, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, at this location, are you still residing there as well?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is your name on the lease at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $3,500 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from the incident location for Mr. Michelle. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Shantoy Linton. And I will also order a one-time law enforcement escort for him to return to get any of his personal belongings. And what I've said on some other cases is if he returns there, and of course he will have law enforcement with him, and it appears that Ms. Linton has moved, then he can reside there. But if her belongings are still there and she intends to reside there, then Mr. Michelle cannot reside there while he is on bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Nothing further
All
from the
right,
state.
thank you. All right.
Position number 4.
This is 23 CR 000-947Y Dale Gardner, charged at 1 count of simple battery, family violence, in state 12/20/2022, pretrial.
All right, this is his 10th arrest. His last arrest was in December, simple battery, family violence. This charge took place before his last arrest, so I guess the investigation just completed this month, which is why this charge is just now coming up. He was given $3,000 pretrial bond then. I'm not gonna surrender it because this took place beforehand.
Okay.
That's it though. Everything else is like driving.
All right. State.
Yes, yes, Judge. Again, this offense occurred back on December the 20th of 2022 at the incident location of 417th Street Northwest, apartment 2326 here in Atlanta. On the day in question, officers did respond to the incident location where they were able to meet with Ms. Shanika Howell, first name Shanika, Shanika, last name Howell, Cumming spelling. And the defendant and Ms. Howell were in a relationship where they lived together. Ms. Howell stated that the defendant began to yell. They had a verbal argument, and then it became physical when the defendant did grab Ms. Howell by the neck and shove her to the ground, resulting in an injury to her forearm. The victim advised that after the altercation, the defendant left the residence. Ms. Howell informed officers that there has been as many as 15 altercations within the past 2 years. However, she has now been brave enough to actually report these incidents to law enforcement. I think it's important for the court to know that when this incident occurred, there was an outstanding warrant that APD did realize for domestic violence. This is the second incident that involves the exact same victim, Ms. Howell. It looks like, Judge, that on the earlier case, he had a $3,000 surety bond given by Judge Law back on 12/31/22. And in this, you had special conditions to stay away from the incident location, no contact with the victim, violate no criminal laws, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapon. We believe that the defendant is at great danger to the victim, being that there are multiple incidents, although only 2 have been recorded. She states that there have been several times where he has attacked her. We believe that he is able to intimidate this witness. Also, my investigator has reported that there have been 3 calls from the jail made to the victim. And so, Judge, we would ask for a $3,000 cash bond because we are very, very cautious of releasing this individual, what he would do to the victim if given a lower bond. So we would ask for that $3,000 cash bond. We'd ask for similar conditions as far as to no future contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location. We would also ask for 10 days anger management, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. And we would like to sound for Ms. Howell.
All right, Shaniqua Howell. Shaniqua Howell. I don't think I see anyone on the Zoom call by that name. All right, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dale Gardner is 52 years old. He is a native of Atlanta. He has a 27-year-old daughter. Mr. Gardner completed high school. He is currently self-employed in real estate. He strongly denies the allegations. He states that this never happened. As we heard from pretrial, Your Honor, Mr. Gardner was brought in custody on December 31st for an incident that is alleged to have occurred back in January of 2022. At that time, Your Honor, the event date, the incident date for this particular allegation was December 20th, 2022. The state had every opportunity to bring my client before Your Honor for a first appearance. Although we're not claiming Riverside here, we would ask that Your Honor grant my client a signature bond through pretrial service or the jail, whichever Your Honor sees fit. My client strongly denies the allegations. He maintains that he has not been in contact with Ms. Gardner, and if there are jail calls, the defense does not have any evidence of that whatsoever. We have not had the occasion to listen to any of that. We do not believe that he's a great danger to her, nor that he will intimidate her, as again, my client maintains that he has not had any contact with her. We are asking for a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he's ineligible, then I would ask for a low bond, no more than $1,000. We are unopposed to the no contact and the stay away orders. We are opposed to the 10 days anger awareness. Again, in this and any open case, my client is presumed innocent. These allegations are alleged to have occurred back in January of 22, over a year ago, and of course, December 20th, 2022, which is a few months ago. And lastly, Your Honor, in looking at the bond order that's signed December 31st, 2022, my client was asked to stay away from that incident location. He states that he still has belongings there. He never returned to get any belongings there. So we would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort. Thank you.
Okay. I know that this defendant's already on a pretrial bond already, even though it's not going to be surrendered. It's got a little bit of history there, so I'm trying to decide. I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the 17th Street address. No further contact with Shaniqua Howell. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that's it. Anything else, counsel?
Would Your Honor grant that one-time law enforcement order?
Yes, one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve any personal items if he gets out on bond. All right, anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
And Judge, that was a $3,000 bond?
Surety bond, yes. Mhm.
Thank you. Another-
Position 11, Powell.
Okay. This is 23 CR 0000955G. That's Mr. Powell. Don't want to mispronounce your first name. That's one count of battery, family violence, offense date February the 14th, 2023. Pre-trial?
Hey, Gardner, was 3,000 good?
Yes.
Okay. Powell, second arrest. Last arrest was misdemeanor possession of marijuana and DUI conviction. And that was from 2018 out of Villa Rica.
Okay. All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. On February the 14th of 2023, officers responded to 3265 Drexel Lane, apartment 4 in East Point, in reference to a fight that involved a knife. Upon arrival, they spoke with the defendant, Mr. Powell, who stated he was visiting his former spouse, Mr. Amante Love, first name Amontae, last name Love, common spelling. He stated that a verbal altercation ensued, which turned physical, and officers also spoke to Mr. Love, who stated that Mr. Powell did arrive at his address to visit him. They were involved in a verbal altercation that did in fact turn physical, and Mr. Love stated that he called police when the defendant grabbed a knife. Officers observed scratches on Mr. Love's face. The state is recommending a $3,500 surety bond, no further contact, stay away order, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. We also asked the court to sound for Mr. Love at the appropriate time. That's all from the state, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Andre Love. Mr. Love. All right. PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Powell is 21 years old, and he graduated from high school, Villa Rica High School, with a GPA 4.0, and he is currently going to real estate to be a real estate realtor, and he has been working for HelloFresh as a full-time employee. His job title is a quality inspector, and he has been very diligent. Your Honor, this is his probably first violent offense, and he does not reside with Mr. Love. He will be residing with his parents. And we would like to request for signature on bond for him. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the incident location. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Amante Love. I'm gonna order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I don't know if there needs to be a one-time escort or not.
No, they do not live there, Your Honor.
Doesn't live there. All right, and that should be the order of the court. Anything else, counsel, that I need to take up?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing either, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Judge, you said 2 or 3?
3.
Judge, I have a quick announcement for position 5, they waived their appearance. And also position 10, waived their appearance. And then, of course, you already know, position 13 bonded out. And we're completed here in courtroom 2, Judge.
All right, thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, you too.
All right. All right, we're ready for position 5.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, this is 23 CR 0000948A. It looks like it's L. Ross Kemp, charged in 1 count of giving false information to law enforcement officer, Penn State 2/16/2023. Pre-trial.
52 total. Last arrest was in Cobb County back in October for shoplifting. He's on probation for a CWAC charge. I'll put it in the chat. But he got
All right.
50 something arrests.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, state.
On February the 16th of 2023, officers arrived to 155 Hillard Street Southeast in reference to a criminal trespassing. Upon arrival, they spoke with the building management who described a male who they contacted outside of the complex property who was trespassing. As the officer, he noticed the male. He was trying to give a formal trespass warning to the male. The male identified himself as Thomas Neal and gave a date of birth of August the 5th, 1980. Officers ran that name and they did not come back to anyone. He was determined, he finally gave his correct name and birth date. It was the defendant, Mr. Eros Kemp. The state is recommending a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services, a stay away from 155 Hillard Street Southeast, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge,
Oh, sorry, yes.
he got 52 arrests. Can you send that through the jail, please?
Thank you. All right, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Eros Kemp is 41 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He does have family here, but no resources for bond. He has 2 children, ages 12 and 16. He completed high school, and at this time he is unemployed. He denies the allegations. He's presumed innocent. We are unopposed to the signature bond through the jail, Your Honor, as my client is being held for another matter, so he may not be able to report to pretrial. So we are requesting that signature bond be through the jail. Thank you.
All right. I will grant the $3,000 signature bond through the jail. I will order a stay away from the 155 Hilliard Street Northwest. And was there a person or nothing? There was no individual for no further contact, right?
No, Your
No
Honor.
request from the state. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else?
Nothing from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Okay. And then the other case was position 10. That is 23 CR 0000921H. Shaman Pierce. One count of certain acts on a bus rail station prohibited. Second count of criminal trespass, both with the offense date of February the 15th, 2023. Retrial.
39 total. We got history out of Georgia and South Carolina. All right. Last arrest was in December for trespass, obstruction, disorderly conduct, terrorist threats. He got an open case in the cab for criminal trespass. Open case for possession of drug-related objects. On probation for theft by taking out of state court. Fair evasion, trespass, obstruction. All that's out of state court. PI, that was from last year as well. Felony obstruction, 19 SC 1722946. They gave him 1 year to serve, 4 years probation for that in 2020. On probation in Clayton County for trespass, terrorist threats. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Your Honor, actually, I do not want to interrupt, but this is the case that I requested for breakout room from the very beginning through the chat. I was wondering if we can have a breakout.
Okay. There's no one left, correct?
No.
I don't know, PD Kim, do we need a breakout? There's no one left here but the court staff.
I understand, but this is MH issue, so we don't want to broadcast that part.
Oh, for the recording?
Yes.
All right.
Judge, do you need me going forward?
Nope, I don't. Are you good?
Yeah, y'all have a good holiday weekend.
Holiday. Oh, that's right. Monday. I was like, what holiday? Thank you.
All right.
Not a holiday for everybody, but okay. All right. Mr. Jordan, can you put us in a breakout, please?
What's Kemp's bond? Oh, 3,000 SOB jail for Kemp.
Oh, that's the only one you were missing.
I actually
Yeah.
need number 2, Coward. I know
Judge,
for a judge.
I do. Hold on 1 second. I'm giving. Yes, 2 was 3,000 SOB pretrial per judge.
Thank you.
All right, now you can put us in a breakout.
Who all needs to be in the breakout room?
Deputy Fogg, PD Kim, ASG Rogers. Ms. Gant, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. Gant. You all want Mr. ASG Fortune to listen in? Since he's
If you
here,
would
I
like
don't
to
know.
join us, the more the merrier.
We'll just throw everybody in that's left and then you'll be good, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you.